new to yoga or not familiar with this style, Vinyasa yoga is also known as flow yoga. Poses are tied together in a flow-like sequence, and the breath is incorporated into those movements. So our inhales and exhales often move us in and out of poses. This class is structured much like other exercise classes. So there is a warm-up, a bulk of the practice, and a cool down. However, at the end of the cool down, we end with a final rest period where we remain still on our backs for about 2 to 3 minutes, not only to absorb the benefits of the class, but also to have a time for reflection. Yoga is not just about what we do in our physical bodies, it's about what goes on in our mind as well. We're trying to meld the two together. I want to remind everyone to always listen to your body throughout this practice. Take breaks if you need to. If something doesn't feel right in your body, you don't have to practice. I won't expect everyone to just know poses by the name, so I will talk about alignment, build you into a pose, and give detail, especially a lot more the first time through. And always check with your doctor before you start a new exercise regimen. Today we're going to get started in a standing position. So go ahead and stand at the top of your mat with your feet hips width distance apart. Relax your shoulders down your back. Turn your palms face forward. Bring one hand to your chest and one hand to your belly. Lower your chin to your chest. And you're either going to close your eyes or pick one spot on the floor and keep your gaze there. Bring your attention, all of your focus to your breath. And start to deepen your breath. Now breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. A few more rounds of breath just like this at your own pace. Resume your normal pattern of breath. Lift your chin from your chest, open your eyes if they were closed, and release your arms down at your sides. Take your right hand behind your back and grab above your left elbow. Give a gentle tug on that arm and let your head fall over to the opposite side. Starting with stretching the neck. Keep the length in the spine. Core is just slightly engaged. Slowly lift your head up through center and release arm down at your side. Left hand comes around the back, grabs above right elbow. Give a gentle tug and let head fall on over. I close my eyes an awful lot during my own personal practice. So at any time you feel like closing your eyes, getting into the stretch, please feel free to do so. Lift your head through center and relax your arm down at your sides. Start to give me some shoulder rolls, rolling the shoulders up towards the ear, relaxing them down the back. Big, exaggerated circles to loosen up the shoulders and the chest. And then reverse direction. Now shoulders roll down the front. Settle into stillness with both arms at your sides. Lift your right arm up towards the ceiling and bend at the elbow, bringing the palm right between the shoulders. Elbow points up towards the ceiling, belly is engaged. Resist the urge to tilt your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Instead, tuck it under, send it long towards the floor. The more you work the hand down the back and keep the elbow pointing up towards the ceiling, the more sensation you'll feel in the shoulders and the chest. If you need a little less sensation here, walk your hand up the back, maybe hands on the back of the neck instead. Use your inhale to extend the arm back up towards the ceiling and exhale, lowering arm down at your side. Left arm comes up towards the ceiling, bend at the elbow, palm between the shoulders. Elbows pointing up towards the ceiling. Take some deep breaths into your chest. Opening up the sides of the body now, and the space between the ribs. Still working with the shoulders and the chest though. As you inhale, arm extends up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, arm lowers down at your sides. Bring both arms up to shoulder height and give yourself a hug, wrapping arms around the body, dropping chin to chest. Opening on the back side of the body and maybe feeling a stretch down the back side of the neck. Maybe feeling the stretch down the back. Take some nice deep breaths here into the back side of the body. Take a mental note which arm is on top. Lift your chin from chest and extend both arms back out at shoulder height. Giving yourself another hug, switching the arms, opposite arm on top, chin lowers down towards the chest, shoulders melt away from the ears. A few breaths here. Lift chin from chest, lift arms back out to shoulder height, then bring them behind your back and grab onto opposite elbows. Step your right foot back into the center of the mat and heel toe the foot out to the long edge of the mat, over to the right edge. Wrap the shoulders behind the heart, open the front of the body, gaze slightly up towards the ceiling and engage your core. Hinge forward into pyramid pose, hinging from the hips, bringing our chest parallel to floor, gazing down towards the floor. Starting to relieve stiffness in the legs. If the forward leg feels pretty tight, put a soft bend in the knee. You can find some ease. Extending long from the tailbone out from the crown of your head. Hips are squared towards the front of the mat. As you inhale, rise back to standing. And step so you're standing in the center of your mat, both feet together. Left foot steps to the back of the mat, heel toe the foot out to outer edge. Inhale as you lift the chest, engage the core. Exhale as you hinge forward into pyramid pose, chest parallel to floor. Not only are we lengthening and relieving tension in the legs, we're opening the chest, we're lengthening the spine, we're engaging our core. Draw your breath in as you rise back to standing and step all the way to the back of the mat, relaxing your arms down at your sides. Lift chin from chest and look forward. Lift both arms overhead, gaze up to the ceiling, and lower into forward fold, bringing hands together, lowering them down through heart center, hinging forward at the hips, dropping belly to thighs, letting arms and crown of head reach towards the floor. If belly is not making contact with the thighs, bend the knees until you feel belly touch. Low belly is engaged as hips reach up towards the ceiling. Weights towards the balls of the feet, but heels stay pressed on the mat. Rise to half lift, flattening your back, parallel to floor, hands to shins, relaxing shoulders away from ears, gazes down towards the floor. Take a few breaths here, core is engaged. Lengthening the spine once again, still relieving stiffness in the legs. Start to bend one knee and then the other, switching back and forth, really feeling the stretch on the extended leg. Now keep just the left knee bent and lift the right arm up to ceiling and to twist. Gaze is up towards the ceiling, opening the chest. Lower the right arm down, come back to half lift, hands to shins, legs are straight. Bend the right knee, and as you inhale, lift left arm up to ceiling. Take a few breaths here, gaze is up towards the ceiling. Lower the hand down, coming back to half lift, hands to shins. And walk the hands forward into plank, walking the hands up the length of the mat until you're in a traditional plank position. Then lower the knees to tabletop. Round the spine to cat pose, tucking chin to chest, drawing belly towards the spine. Then lift and arch the spine into cow, tilting and arching the spine, looking up towards the ceiling. Again, rounding the spine, leading the movement with your tailbone, chin drops to the chest last. Then lifting and arching, gazing up to ceiling. Keep repeating this movement back and forth, moving at your own pace. Maybe close the eyes, focus on the sensation and the movement in the spine as you round and as you lift and arch. And start to tie your breath into your movement, exhaling as you round the spine, inhaling as you lift and arch. A few more times. And settle into a tabletop position, fingers spread wide, wrists under shoulders and knees stacked underneath the hips. Lift up to the tips of the fingers, extend right leg behind you, pointing through the toes, heel in line with hip. Give me a crunch, drawing right knee in towards the chest, rounding the spine, drawing the belly in, and stepping the foot into lunge, or placing the foot into lunge. Foot in between hands and ankle below knee. Draw breath in through nose, nice and slow, to lift both arms overhead, and pause and exhale here, squaring shoulders away from ears. Pressing down through left knee, finding length on sides of the body, out through the crown of the head, core is engaged. Lower ribs are tucked in. On your exhale, open to twist, turning to face the right side of the mat, lowering your arms down to shoulder height. Actively draw the thighs towards the midline of your body for stability. Bring left fingertips down to the floor, sending the free hand up towards the ceiling into a lunge twist. Gaze is up to the ceiling, belly is drawn in, right foot's flat to mat. As you exhale, right hand comes down to the floor, back into a lunge. Extend right leg behind you, point through the toes, and return to a tabletop position on the tips of the fingers. Left leg extends behind you, pointing through the toes. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, round the spine, draw belly in, and step or place the foot into lunge, right between the hands. Draw breath in through nose, slowly lifting both arms overhead. Pause and exhale here. Square the shoulders away from ears, tuck in those ribs. Take a few deep breaths into the chest. As you exhale, open to twist, turning to the left, lowering arms down to shoulder height. Right fingertips come down to floor, free arm up to ceiling, into twist. Gaze is up to ceiling, draw the belly in. On your next exhale, raised hand comes down to floor. Extend the left leg behind you, nice and long, point through the toes, keep that leg active, then return to tabletop knee to mat. Bring the elbows down into puppy pose, stacked underneath the shoulders, palms face down to floor, and let your head relax so you can gaze between the knees. Take a few breaths here. Puppy pose, option 1 for your rest position any time throughout the class. Whether I cue it or not, you are welcome to this pose. Option 2 is to settle all the way into child's pose, bringing big toes to touch, settling hips all the way down to the heels, and resting forehead on the mat. Child's pose creates a little more sensation in the hips and on the knees. So if you're new to the practice, try both out, see what feels best for you. And then take a few more breaths in whatever pose you chose. Our last moment of stillness to finish up our warm-up. Just bring your attentions to your thoughts, see what's going through your head. There are no right or wrong answers. Meet me back in a tabletop position and lift up to the tips of your fingers. Extend your left leg behind you, point through the toes. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, around the spine, draw belly in, step or place foot into lunge. Lift up to just the pointer and middle finger, draw belly in, send chest forward. Right toes tuck onto the mat. Press into the toes to lift knee off the mat. Step up to half lift, right foot steps up to top of mat, back is flat, hands to shins. Lower to forward fold, bend the knee so belly touches thighs, arms and head reach towards the floor. One vertebrae at a time, start to round your spines up to a standing position. Leave your chin tucked into your chest until you make it all the way to the top. Lift both arms back overhead, gaze up to the ceiling. Lower to forward fold, hands come together, lower down through heart center and belly lowers to the thighs. Rise half lift, flatten back, hands to shins. Step your right foot back into a lunge position, bringing fingertips to floor, left knee stacked right over the ankle on the ball of right foot. Lower the knee down to the mat and uncurl the toes, top of foot to mat. Inhale through the nose, lift both arms overhead, draw thighs actively toward the midline of the body for stability. Exhale out the mouth, fingertips lower back down towards the floor. Step back into a tabletop position. Lean forward for chaturanga, shoulders come past the wrists, bend the elbows, keep them close to the body. Bring chest down first, and then the hips, top of feet to mat. Elbows point up towards the ceiling, draw belly in to lift the chest off the mat, shoulders behind the heart. Then press into your chosen rest position, whether that's puppy pose, elbows to mat, or child's pose, hips to heels. And take a few breaths here. Don't feel obligated to stick with one rest position. You can switch them up if you so choose to do so. Inhale as you meet me back in a tabletop position and lift up to the tips of the fingers. Extend your right leg behind you, point through the toes. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, and step the foot into lunge. Lift up to pointer and middle finger, draw belly in, send chest forward. Left toes tuck onto the mat, lift that knee into the air. Step up to half lift, feet together, hands to shins. Lower to forward fold, belly touches the thighs. Then one vertebrae at a time, we'll round our spines up to standing. Again, inhale, lifting arms overhead. Exhaling, lowering to forward fold, belly to thighs. Inhale, half lift, back is flat. Exhale as you step the left foot back into a lunge position and lower the knee down to the mat. Uncurl the toes. Breathe in through nose, lifting both arms overhead. Exhale out through mouth, fingertips to floor. Step back into a tabletop position. Use your exhale for chaturanga, leaning forward, bending elbows close to body, chest, and then hips to mat. Draw belly in, lifting chest to baby cobra, shoulders behind the heart, and pressing into your toes in rest position, whether that's puppy or child. A little shorter of the rest this time. You want to keep up our heart rate. Draw your breath in as you rise to tabletop and lift up to the tips of your fingers. Extend your left leg behind you, point through the toes. Give me a crunch into a lunge, stepping the foot through. Lifting up to pointer and middle finger, lift the right knee off the mat. Step up to half lift as you breathe in through the nose, flat back. Exhale out through the mouth, lower to fold. And slowly round the spine up to a standing position. Again, breath in, arms up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back into a plank position as you exhale and drop the knees to tabletop. Take a breath in. Exhale to chaturanga, leaning forward, bending elbows, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale to baby cobra, lifting chest off the mat. And exhale to your rest position. As soon as you make it to your rest position, slowly meet me back in a tabletop position. Extend your right leg long behind you and give me a crunch into a lunge position. Foot in between the hands. Inhale as you step up to half lift. Hands to shins. Exhale as you lower to fold, belly to thighs. See if you can draw your inhale out as you slowly rise to standing. And exhale at the top. Inhale and bring the arms overhead. Exhale, lower to fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale as you step your right foot back into a lunge position. Bring your hands to your forward thigh and extend the arms overhead into high lunge. Left knee is stacked over the ankle. Roll the ball of our right foot. Extending and pressing out through the right heel. But if the leg feels really tight, put a soft bend in the knee for some ease. Right glute is nice and active. Open a 5-pointed star facing the right side of your mat. Feet turned forward and arms lower to shoulder height. Turn just the left foot to face towards the front of the mat and bend the knee into warrior two. Stack it right over the ankle. Keep hips and shoulders facing long edge of the mat. Gaze out towards your left hand. Forward knee is tracking towards the pinky edge of the foot. Lower your left elbow down to thigh. Bring your free arm up to frame your ear. Right into side angle. Pressing firmly into the right edge of the foot. Pinky edge of the right foot, let me say. Then rise back to warrior two, arms at shoulder height, and find reverse warrior. Straighten the forward leg for a break. Left arm comes up to ceiling. Lower back to warrior two, knee bends and windmill the arms into lunge, lifting the right heel off the mat. Step back into a plank position and lower the knees to tabletop. Exhale to chaturanga, lean forward, elbows close to body, all the way flat. Inhale, baby cobra, chest lifts, and exhale to your chosen rest position. Few rounds of breath here. Bring your attention back to your thoughts. Use your inhale to meet me back in a tabletop position and lift up to the tips of your fingers. Extend your right leg behind you, point through the toes. Give me a crunch into a lunge position. Step the foot through. Inhale as you step up to half lift, hands to shins. Exhale to forward fold, belly to thighs. And inhale as you slowly rise to standing. Exhaling once you make it to the top. Next inhale brings arms back overhead. Exhale meets me back and forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale as you step left foot back into lunge. Bring hands to forward thigh and extend arms overhead into high lunge. Tuck the lower ribs in. Take a few deep breaths. Open a 5-pointed star facing the left side of your mat. Turn feet forward, lower arms to shoulder height. Right foot turns to face the front of the mat and bend the knee into warrior two, stacking it right over the ankle. Gaze is out towards right hand. Lower to side angle, elbow comes down to thigh, left arm frames the ear, lifting and twisting the chest up towards the ceiling, engaging our core. Inhale as you rise back to warrior two. Straighten the forward leg and find reverse warrior, right arm up to the ceiling. Exhale as you bend the knee back into warrior two and windmill the arms down into lunge. Left heel lifts off the mat. Step back into your plank position and drop the knees to tabletop. Exhale moves us into chaturanga, lower all the way down to mat. Inhale, baby cobra, chest lifts. And exhale to your rest position. Taking another moment of stillness here. Focus comes to the breath. Use your inhale to rise to a tabletop position, lifting up to the tips of your fingers. Extend your left leg behind you, point through the toes. Exhale to a crunch and step the foot through into lunge. Inhale as you step up to half lift, hands to shins. Exhale to your forward fold. Draw the inhale out as you slowly rise to standing and exhale at the top. Take one hand back to the heart and your other to your belly. Chin lowers back to the chest. Try closing the eyes this time if you didn't do it the first time. But it's up to you. Gaze can stay focused on one spot. Melt shoulders away from ears and bring your attention to your breath. Follow the rise and the fall of the belly or the chest. Lower arms down by your sides, lift chin from chest, bring both arms back up towards the ceiling, gaze up to ceiling, and slow exhale into your forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale as you step back into plank and hold this plank here. Don't hold the breath. Core is engaged, thighs engaged, glutes, shoulders, arms, everything. Holding here, then slowly lowering yourself all the way down to your belly. Bring your big toes to touch, but let the heels fall away from one another. Arms are along the sides of the body, palms face up, head turns to one side or the other. Wiggle the shoulders away from ears, make some space. Wiggle the hips a little side to side. Help release the low back. And then once you've settled into some stillness, take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you exhale out through your mouth, let everything go onto your mat. If you want to deepen the stretch for your neck, turn your head so you're resting more on your ear than you are your cheek. Slowly turn your head to the opposite side, starting on your cheek first. Moving to the ear if you're deepening the stretch. Turn your head so chin is on the mat, and bring your arms underneath your chin to support like a pillow. Bend the right knee into frog pose, keeping it tracking along the floor. The more you raise the knee up towards the face, the more sensation you're going to start to feel in the hip. It's up to you how little or how much sensation you would like to create. Find a space you can hang out in for about 30 seconds or so. Chin can stay on the arms or head can turn to one side or the other, whatever feels best for you. Find a comfortable spot. If you can't take nice deep breaths for your at, then I suggest maybe easing up just a bit, lowering the knee down away from the face. Slowly start to straighten the leg and bending the left knee into frog pose, adjusting yourself into a comfortable position. You might notice one side is a little looser or a little more flexible than the other, so just adjust accordingly. If you had your head turned to one side, try turning it to the opposite side. Slowly begin to straighten the leg. Bring hands back underneath shoulders, elbows up to ceiling and chin to mat. Press yourself into your chosen rest position for one final time and take a few breaths wherever you're at. When you're ready, slowly find a seated position in the center of your mat with your legs extended forward. Give everyone a moment or two to get there. Once you're in your seated position, ground your sits bones into the floor and flex the feet. Lift both arms overhead, drop chin to chest, and round the spine into a rounded back stretch, placing hands on the knees, thumbs on the inside, and elbows pointed out to the side like elephant ears. This pose can create a lot of sensation. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Try to draw the breath to the space that you feel the most sensation. Encourage those muscles to relieve the tension that they're holding. If you can't take deep, full breaths where you're at, ease up out of the pose, round the spine just a bit until you can breathe a little more comfortably, a little deeper. Slowly start to find length in the spine. And find staff pose, planting hands on either sides of the hips, extending out through crown of head, then relaxing the spine into a neutral position. Bend the knees so they're planted, or so the feet are planted on the floor. Place your hands on the back of the thighs and slowly make your way down onto your back. Once you're flat on your back, draw both knees in towards your chest, feet side by side. Interlace the fingers and hold below the knees, drawing thighs closer to body. If that creates any discomfort on your knees, you can hold on to the back of your thighs instead. And everyone, gently tuck your chin in towards your chest. Decompressing the spine here. Giving a massage to our internal organs, bringing some fresh blood to the area, keeping our digestive system happy. If you'd like to find a little bit of movement in your poses, you can gently rock side to side here, helping to massage muscles on the back side of the body. Maybe eyes are closed. If you found a rock, settle into stillness. Place your hands on the back side of your thighs and extend both legs up to the ceiling into our inversions, stacking the heels slightly over the hips, and we're holding here. If you need ease in this pose at any time, you can gently bend the knees, drawing thighs close to the body, but keeping the heels elevated. We're going to hold here for another 30 seconds or so. Inversions are usually practiced towards the end of a class because they help induce relaxation, calm our nervous system, help to prepare us for our final resting pose. Draw the knees all the way back to the chest, lowering heels down towards the glutes. Release your arms to the floor, out at shoulder height, palms face up towards the ceiling. Let the knees fall to the right into reclined spinal twist, and head gently turns to the left. If you feel any pinching in the back here, lower the knees away from the hands. On the inhale, slowly draw knees back to the center of the chest and let them fall over to the left, turning head to the right. On the inhale, knees draw slowly back to center of the chest. Wrap your arms around the legs, drawing them close to the body for one last time. Slowly lift your head to meet your knees. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Hold the breath in at the top. As you exhale out through the mouth, release the hold on your body so that you can lay flat on your mat right into final rest position. Separate your legs and arms nice and wide, palms face up to ceiling, toes fall away from one another, and eyes are closed. Everyone take another deep breath in through your nose, and as you exhale out through the mouth, imagine melting onto your mat, letting go of all the tension and the stress in your body, releasing it into the ground. Bring your focus to the natural pattern of your breath. And follow every repetitive, rhythmic inhale and exhale. Let every exhale take you deeper into relaxation. Let every exhale relieve stress in the body and from the mind. If your focus has wandered, bring your attention back to the inhalations and exhalations. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Bring movement back to your body. Gently roll over to the right side of your body and take a moment of stillness on your side. You can use your arm as a pillow to support your head. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze low to the floor, slowly press yourself up into any comfortable seated position. And take your time, you don't have to get up right away. If you still haven't quite made it to your seated position, that's okay. Just keep an ear open so you know where we're headed. As always, to finish class, we'll take 3 cleansing breaths together as one. That's breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Today we'll take a 4-count breath. So we'll breathe in for a count of 4 and we'll exhale for a count of 4. If after the first round of breath that count came easily to you, I suggest you enhance your count to a count of 5. Let's all start on an exhale. Release all the breath you have out of the body. Start to breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Exhale out the mouth. 2, 3, 4. Breath in. 2, 3, and 4. Breath out. 2, 3, 4. Last time. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 2, 3, and 4. Take a moment and give thanks for yourself, for making time for yourself for this practice. I'd like to thank you for letting me lead you on this practice. There is a light that exists within me that respects and honors the light that exists within every single one of you. Thanks so much for practicing with me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, there's a new version of this class that is aired every Monday at 8 a.m. You can watch it at any time after that. If you're looking for something a little more challenging, I do teach a core yoga class. I think it's a lot of fun. It's hard, you'll break a sweat. Hopefully that class is aired every Wednesday at 8 a.m. We've got lots of classes to offer other than yoga. Try them out, let us know what you think. But I hope to see you here in one of my classes next week. Have a great day.